Well, we went through Labor Day weekend and we had some pretty decent fishing. We had some nice runs on Friday, some nice runs on Saturday, then it kind of quieted down for Sunday, Monday, but still we had little consistent trickles. Good weekend. Moving on to the week, it got hot. But before I go, some quick little heads up announcements. First thing is, I want to remind everybody that Pineville Sport Shop will be carrying mine and Rick's flies again. They're well stocked. They got a lot of them, so go in and partake. So they'll be carrying their flies. So that's the first thing. The other thing is if you're interested in joining us in the spay casting clinic next year, that'll be the last weekend of August. Drop us a note. We'll put you on an email waiting list, and then we'll confirm everybody up around August, or excuse me, not August, probably around June, July. We'll get everything started confirmed. But we can put you on that email reminder email list. So if you think you might want to or anything else, just give us a hold and we'll put you on a list, and then we'll send out a reminder. So, and let's see, anything else I got to remind you about? Yeah, we're salmon fishing. So that's about it right at the moment, other than the flies and the casting clinics. Our calendars are pretty full. You can always check and see if we have a cancellation, or we can call in and we'll put you on a cancellation list if we got some open dates. We do have a couple dates still available late October for some steelhead. There's a small handful amongst us that are open. So that pretty much takes care of the announcements. Let's talk about the fishing. Like I said, it's been hot. So this heat has slowed the trickle of fish down. Mind you, there is a lot of fish sitting out in front of the river, out in the lake, just looking for an excuse to run. There's also a fairly decent handful for this time of the year in the estuary, just kind of kicking around, and we've been having some pretty consistent trickles of fish despite the warm water coming up through the Douglas and Salmon Run. And they've been poking their way through. Of course, the water's warm, so the fish don't move as fast as they normally do. So once they get out of the Douglas and Salmon Run, places like High Bridge, Ballpark, Paper Mill, all that's been fishing pretty decent because those concentrations concentrations of salmon are still there, and that's been fishing pretty good. So the lower river's been fishing pretty well. Man, it's been wet up here. We got a big mosquito hatch. I wonder what the bag limit is on mosquitoes. Anyways, as for the rest of the river, a friend of mine floated from Alkmaar to Pineville, and he said, there's another one, add it to the bag limit. He said that he saw fish all the way down through all the pools, the pockets, all the major stuff, had a handful of fish in all the way down through. And he was able to get some action on those fish, so they're still kind of grabby in the upper part of the river. So things are fishing pretty good for, once again, I'm going to say it, this time of the year. There's also a fair amount of fish for this time of year up in the upper fly zone. I know, obviously, I mentioned earlier, there's some in the hatchery, so we got fish scattered through the river system. So it's not like you got to go and concentrate all your effort in the lower river. If you want to get away from people and you don't mind working for a fish, all the prime areas are going to have a few fish in it, and you can probably work a fish up. That's pretty good fishing for right now. Water temperatures are warm. We're at, I think, morning temperatures around 68 degrees, and it doesn't take long with this heat for that water to break over 70, so it's warm. It's stress temperatures for the salmon. So you want to concentrate your fishing from basically just mornings, like first light until like mid-late morning, and then maybe go run from the heat, go tie flies in the air conditioning. For flies, we've been using all the standard stuff. The dark willy buggers in the morning have been working. Once in a while they've been hitting some pink, so if you get some low light colors, there's some shady spots, and don't hesitate to throw a little color at them. Like pink has been working, some pink buggers been getting some action. Once that place gets lit up and that pocket water gets lit up, or wherever it gets lit up, we've been going to olive woolly buggers. That's been working good. We've been doing a lot of on size 4s. Those fish seem to be liking the bigger flies. The other thing is look for those fish when the water starts to get warm, and all that pocket water, all that with a good sealing of riffy water and pocket water and the riffs and stuff like that. That's been holding them. There's another one. So that's usually where we've been finding our best biters. So we've been kind of having to stalk them down. Their presentations first thing in the morning. They'll take a swing and fly. As a lot of you know, I like to fish on the swing. So that's usually once that water starts warming up, the light gets on there, those fish are heading for cover. and they'll stop chasing a swinging fly as much, and we have to shift over and do more of a drifting presentation into the pocket in a little quicker water. Those fish get a little bit oxygen stress or temperature stress like we do, and they end up kind of got to give it a kind of a more of a drifty presentation than a swing. It's just how they're just getting a little bit lazy in the heat like we do, and they don't want to chase it as much, but they'll definitely respond to a drifting fly. So that's what's going on with presentations. Obviously water flows are still at 335. I don't perceive them to definitely not go down, because we have a lot coming into next week. I'm hoping a lot of this, I'll have this up so you can see it before the weekend. Going into this coming week, we're supposed to have a good cool down. I mean, we're in the high 80s, and then we're probably going to drop down to the high 60s. So we're going to see a plunge in the water temperature. They got a lot of wet weather in the forecast for the next few days, so that's going to be good. That'll keep the reservoir charged. Keep an eye on the water flows. The reservoir is full, the ground is saturated. Case in point, we're killing mosquitoes. We might see a bump in the water flows. So, and I think this fall is something we're going to have to be careful about, because we can't take the water flows for granted this year, that it's going to stay at a certain thing, or if it goes up or down, it won't be much. I think this year we can see a lot of 750 water or even more. So we got to be mindful on the keeping the track when the weather comes in. Keep an eye on the gauges and see if we get a bump in the water flows. Keep in mind, water flow bump generally means a good run of fish. So if you know they're going to do a bump in the water flows, those fish are going to move. It doesn't matter where they're on the river, they're going to move. So that'll create a positive for the fishing. So that's about what's going on right now, folks. We're off and running. It looks like the salmon season's off to a good start. Once again, Pineville's got our flies. We got a few days in late October. And if you're interested in the spay casting clinic, give us an email and we'll get you on the mailing list. Until then, the folks that I've seen on the river, it was good meeting you, good seeing you, and see you on the river, and good fishing. It's salmon season, folks. See ya. This is Jay at JPEC Guides and Lost River Fishing. We are a year-round fly fishing catch and release guide service. We fish the Lake Ontario tributaries. And then during the spring and the summer, we also fish the inland trout streams, classic dry fly fishing. During the heat of the summer, we will do the warm water fishing for bass and pike. If you're interested in any of our outings or have any questions, please feel free to email us at fish@lostriversfishing.com. Hope to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.